Tonight on CTV News at 6. Chaos erupts in Mexico after the army takes on one of the drug cartels.
We had messages upon messages yesterday of family and friends reaching out.
Federal officials estimate roughly 26,000 Canadians are still in the country. Plus, hundreds of students find themselves with no school bus service this week.
Right now, these drivers are making $18.11 an hour, which is just above minimum wage.
The latest update from near north has both sides at an impasse. And North Bay kickstarts a project to help with its diversification.
The strategy is about ourselves building 70% of Canadian companies.
It's all thanks to some help from the feds.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. We are starting to get a more clear picture of the damage in Mexico after a violent clash between the Mexican army and a drug cartel. The Mexican army killed El Mencho on Sunday, the leader of one of the country's largest drug cartels, during an operation near Puerto Vallarta. In the aftermath, violence has spread across several Mexican states, and 25 members of the Mexican National Guard were killed. At least 30 cartel members were killed and dozens arrested in the aftermath of the operation. The Canadian federal government says more than 26,000 Canadians are currently in the country, many of whom are now stranded amid the escalating violence. CTV's Lydia Chubak is talking with Northerners tonight and has more.
Sue and Jason Mason from Timmins are currently enjoying 30-degree weather in the Riviera Mile. They're in Algoma, about a 90-minute drive from Cancun and hundreds of kilometers away from the violent incidents that have erupted in Puerto Vallarta. But when the rest of the world learned about the death of Mexico's most wanted man, a notorious cartel leader, Mason's family expressed concern.
We had messages upon messages yesterday of family and friends reaching out to make sure we're okay. We've been tagged in a lot of the alerts. So the first thing we did was we registered with the Government of Canada for Canadians abroad. So that they know we're here if something happens.
The Masons say they also met with their Air Canada representative in the resort's lobby.
She reassured us this is a norm for down here.
And they're used to dealing with.
And that we are perfectly safe, especially if you stay on resort. We did have a adventure booked for today, but we decided to delay that a couple days.
Another Timmins couple is currently vacationing in Mazatlan.
We're 4 hours north of Puerto Vallarta. I have a friend who goes there every year, and I was talking to him via Facebook yesterday, and he says he's never seen anything like it in the 20 years he's been going there. The other side of that coin is I think that a little bit of it is hype in the media.
Holt says at this time everything is normal and calm where he is.
The one thing I did notice in the last couple of days leading up to the events in Puerto Vallarta is that there was an increase, in my mind, an increased presence of military and police on the streets. They patrol with basically F-150s and 50 caliber machine guns mounted on the back, which is kind of weird for a Canadian to see on the streets. But everything's been very normal.
The Government of Canada provides advice to travellers on its website, travel.gc.ca, and also advises them to add their names to the registration of Canadians abroad. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
In the Nipissing-Parry Sound region, bus drivers did not get behind the wheel this morning as part of the negotiations between Alouette Bus Lines and its drivers. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
Around 80 bus drivers are on strike this afternoon after 79% of drivers rejected the Alouette Bus Line's offer of a wage increase they say isn't fair. In a statement, Alouette Bus Line says the union representing its school bus drivers has elected to strike, rejecting the company's offer to increase wages by 15%.
Right now, these drivers are making $18.11 an hour, which is just above minimum wage. There's lots of other bus companies in the area that are making above $22, $23, even $25 an hour. So for the employer to offer the $2.69, it still falls below what everybody else is making and below the livable wage in the area.
This strike impacts nearly 2,000 students' school transportation, something neither party wants. In a previous letter, Alouette Busline claimed the union was using children as pawns in the negotiations. And in a statement sent out this afternoon, they added, "It is regrettable that school children are impacted by labor negotiations."
We had advised the company that we would drive this morning, hold our vote. If it was determined to be a strike, we would withdraw our services like any other group that strikes. So for them to want us to continue to drive after a resounding no vote is frankly, unacceptable from us. And at no point did we use the children as pawns.
The collective agreement between the company and its workers expired in August of 2025.
There were a few other issues that were brought up during negotiations. The employer had agreed that they would try and fix those. So right now it is the wage that's a huge issue for these members. Like I said, $18.11 just isn't cutting it, and even going up that extra $2 isn't going to cut it for them.
We're not a bunch of greedy bus drivers here. We're just severely underfunded.
The Near North District School Board has posted to social media informing families they will be responsible for making alternative arrangements for their children to travel to and from school. The NPSSTS continues to work on contingency plans for alternate service delivery. Both the union and Alouette Busline say they remain open for discussion and hope to reach a new agreement soon. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sturgeon Falls.
The city of North Bay, with the help of the federal government, is kickstarting a project aimed at business diversification in the defense sector. CTV's Eric Tashner has more.
We can manufacture here in Canada.
Nipissing-Temiskaming MP Pauline Rochefort says rapidly the world is changing, with international rules-based order fading. Now more than ever, it's critical to focus on what we can control to protect Canada's sovereignty.
The strategy is about ourselves building 70% of Canadian companies getting contracts to build what we need from a military perspective here in Canada.
So the government is chipping in over $470,000 for the city of North Bay to launch a multi-year pilot project to assist businesses diversify and expand while exploring the defense industry.
There's been a number of manufacturing industries that have contacted the city, certainly saying, how do we get involved?
In Canada's industrial defense strategy, it's identified there are several areas that are considered to be critical to the country's sovereignty.
Ammunition, the Arctic defense, when it comes to, for example, our naval capacity. 22 Wing is very involved in the over-the-horizon radar system.
North Bay will play host to the Northern Ontario Road to Defense Conference, which is aimed at supporting businesses.
Will spark some, entrepreneurial spirit to say, how can I get involved in this and help the defense sector? So we're hearing about it.
The non-repayable funds will also be used to host workshops on topics such as certifications required for bids, how to prepare for bids for the defense industry, and how to effectively pitch to prime contractors.
We're going to be buying airplanes, and so there's going to be a lot of various components that are going to be added to the assets of the military.
The money is part of Canada's $6.6 billion Buy Canadian plan to supply the military and grow the nation's domestic defense industry. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Time for our first check on weather. Here's CTV's Rick Wyman. And Rick, I was out of town on the weekend and sounds like I got back just in time. We've got snow coming.
Well, you like the snow. I mean, out in Noelville, there's always lots of snow out there. So, I don't want to hear any disagreements from you about the snow to come. Don't worry. We'll talk about that later on. Systems map, courtesy of Environment Canada. Here we go. This is what's going to happen tomorrow about supper time. It's a big splat for tomorrow. Of course, Sault Ste. Marie will have some snow during the day, but predominantly across northeastern Ontario, you'll get your snow just after supper time tomorrow evening. So we'll keep very close eye on that. Your current temperatures and your 7-day forecast and a beautiful pick of the day all coming up, Ian. Back to you.
Can do without the snow. Thanks, Rick. Well, still to come on CTV News at 6. Kirkland Lake's Strong Mayor budget includes a tax increase for infrastructure. And North Bay police target drivers traveling too close following a spike in rear-end collisions.
Pure Country 91.7 wants to send you to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. We're giving away an all-inclusive Caribbean vacation for 2 every weekday. Listen for your chance to win. Pure Country Passport with Sandals Resorts. Get closer to the Caribbean.
Calls continue for the provincial government to scrap their announced changes to the Ontario Student Assistance Program. Critics say the shift from grants to loans will leave many drowning in debt. CTV Siobhan Morris has details.
Despite more than a week of anger and anxiety over changes to OSAP, there's no sign of thaw on the policy that will dramatically cut the money given to students in grants. The shift is to more repayable loans.
You have to be held accountable when you take tax dollars. It's not a freebie anymore. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Flanked by college and university students, the opposition leader is demanding a reversal from the premier.
He is going to literally leave these students and students across this province struggling with debt for decades.
Students admit they're thinking of dropping out, unable to take on tens of thousands of dollars of debt, and graduating into a jobs market that could challenge their ability to pay it back.
If we make education less accessible, we only weaken our future workforce.
It is the future Doug Ford believes prospective students should be thinking of.
When you take a course, you have to look at in-demand jobs, something that we can drive our economy.
He mentions careers in the trades, manufacturing, nuclear energy, and healthcare. Adesi Mbalaja dreams of working in public health.
To break into the workforce, despite these high demand and that language is really difficult. And so a master's program is something I and so many students want to pursue, but we don't know what that looks like financially for us.
If she can't go forward with the kind of expertise the province needs,
I think it shows that this government is fundamentally, whether willfully or unintentionally, out of touch.
Christian Turner's been counting on OSAP grants for his education. He lost both his parents 2.5 years ago. The shift to loans?
It's a punishment for being poor. It is a punishment for those who have gone through extreme hardship and cannot fight for themselves.
The government's position is that the OSAP setup has become unsustainable. The NDP argues that could be fixed with a rebalancing of priorities, so students aren't left under mountains of debt. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Kirkland Lake has passed its first strong mayor budget, and it means a 5.6% property tax increase for residents. It's all part of an infrastructure push that Kirkland Lake has been recently undergoing to close a gap the town is facing. This year, they plan on spending over $4 million to realign water mains. The second is a connecting link project to redo an intersection in the downtown core. Mayor Stacey White is hopeful this will trigger growth.
And we want to make sure that we are ready for the future, because the future is coming to Kirkland Lake now. We are doing major expansions and seeing growth in our community. And we know that with Upper Beaver mine expansion, we're going to see about a 25% increase to our population.
White adds discussion around flood mitigation has already begun. Given a recent state of emergency, she believes they will be ready ahead of the spring thaw. Tax season is officially underway. Today marks the first day to file 2025 income tax and benefit returns online. Most taxpayers have until April 30th, but the deadline for those who are self-employed or those with a self-employed spouse is June 15th. The Canada Revenue Agency says taxpayers should have an easier time this year after it rolled out a service improvement plan, which included streamlining its websites and hiring more call center workers. The CRA was criticized last year for long wait times. 2 people are facing charges in connection to a break-and-enter in North Bay. According to police, officers caught 2 people leaving the home in the 800 block of Worthington Street East Friday morning. As they arrived to search, the suspects revealed one of them was carrying an edged weapon. A spike in rear-end collisions, 85 in 92 days, has North Bay Police doing an enforcement blitz across the city. According to police, officers will be targeting tailgating, as following too closely is a leading cause of preventable collisions. They'll be looking at several factors, including road conditions and visibility, speed and vehicle condition when determining what is too close. Following too closely is a Highway Traffic Act violation and carries a $110 to $150 fine along with demerit points. Well, hundreds rallied in Toronto ahead of the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Rally for Ukraine being held as Russia carried out more attacks on the European country. CTV's Allison Hurst attended the event and has more.
As hundreds mark 4 years since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Maria Shapilova clutches a photo of volunteer Marina Vorontsova, who was killed in the war after joining the armed forces in 2025.
She was a medic. She was a mother. What she said, she always said, I am where I must be, where I should be. This is my country and I will fight for it.
Shapilova is from Kharkiv. Her parents are still there and her brother has been fighting for years in the war.
I want to tell to the world and to Canada, who supports us very much and we appreciate it, is that Ukraine is not going to give up. We are going to stand strong.
4 years ago, Ukraine was only expected to be able to hold off the Russians for a few days. And still, just overnight, the onslaught of attacks continue.
I was there. I saw it. It's so different than here. It's so depressive. And yeah, it's another word.
Without the support here, Ukraine cannot survive. Ukraine relies on support from people from all over the world.
Many find comfort in coming together, showing strength and support for those still fighting, while remembering everyone who gave their lives.
The fight in Ukraine is to hold off Russia, not only from Ukraine, but hold them off from attacking other countries in Europe. Should Ukraine fail, others will fail. It'll cost Canadians a lot more later on if we don't stop Russia right now.
Messages of ongoing support were shared from all levels of government.
Since this war began, we have donated 17 vehicles and 8 generators to our sister city, Kiev.
We've welcomed over 150,000 Ukrainian refugees, and I welcome more, as many as we can take. We will welcome them with open arms.
Conservatives called on the government, which agreed to hand over 40,000 CRV-7 missiles, which the Ukrainian military has now put into use fighting against Putin.
The official anniversary of the full-scale invasion is Tuesday. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Back now for a check on the current conditions with Rick Wyman. And Rick, I have to give a shout out to my neighbor. I was gone for a couple of days and he made sure I had a clean driveway when I got back. I got some great snow-loving neighbors in the French River.
It's Noelville, peace, love. It's like the 70s all over in Noelville. That's neighbors do that. That's a great thing. I like that, Ian. Good stuff. Forecast radar. I don't know if people will love this. We've got some snow coming into the forecast by tomorrow. We'll take a look at some of the numbers. 7-day forecast. Just a few minutes away. I like that. Neighbors doing neighbors favors. Let's check out the current temperatures. -23 in Moosonee, -21 in Cochrane, -19 in Timmins, -21 in Cap, predominantly clear skies. Still sunny in Chapleau, -17, Wawa, -17, and the Sioux, -12. Some snow tomorrow in Wawa, about 10 centimeters, then 5 to 10 later on as well, just like the Sioux with snow tomorrow. We'll check out those numbers. Parry Sound, more snow in the area for tomorrow, -17, -14 North Bay, Temiskaming Shores, -16, and Kirkland Lake, -18. Greater Sudbury, -13, more of the same in Espanola, -14, Elliot Lake, and Gore Bay at -9. Your 7-day report card coming out. Some people will like it, others won't, Ian, because we do have some snow in the forecast. Back to you.
I might not. Well, we'll see. Thanks so much, Rick. Next on CTV News at 6. Airports across the country are reporting delays for Nexus users trying to enter the U.S. And the House of Commons resumes with a new member of Parliament sitting with the government. Countries around the world are pushing back against new threats from the White House after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that most of Donald Trump's tariffs were illegal. The markets reacted today with the Dow closing down more than 800 points. CTV senior correspondent Judy Trin has the latest.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
Donald Trump's use of emergency economic powers to impose tariffs has been shackled by the Supreme Court, but the White House says it will use other tools to get what it wants.
The administration remains undeterred in reshoring American factories and getting rid of these massive trade imbalances.
Trump says he'll impose new 15% global tariffs to replace the ones deemed illegal. On social media, Trump warned against playing games and threatened much higher tariffs if countries back out of trade deals. But the European Union may not ratify the agreement it signed with Trump last year.
A deal is a deal. Both sides have agreed to and indeed have a duty to honour their part of the agreement we made with the US.
In the past year, Trump's tariffs have brought in more than 240 billion Canadian dollars.
He needs to return that money, needs to refund that money with interest. He can do that in a nanosecond.
The Supreme Court decision does not apply to tariffs that are devastating Canadian steel, aluminum, automobiles, and softwood lumber. But in the past few weeks, some Republican representatives have voted against Trump's tariffs on Canada. Ontario's premier seized the moment to highlight the shifting support.
We saw what happened in Congress. We saw what happened in the Supreme Court. The walls are closing in, I believe, on President Trump right now.
Because of CUSMA, Canadian companies will mostly be exempt from Donald Trump's latest tariff threat. The Prime Minister has yet to comment on Trump's newest threats, but he is preparing for an overseas trip. He's headed to India, Japan, and Australia later this week to promote trade. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Some major airports in Canada are warning travelers that Nexus and Global Entry pre-clearance programs for U.S.-bound flights are suspended. Airports in Montreal, Vancouver, and Calgary are asking passengers traveling through U.S. customs to allow for extra time to pass through security checks. Most airports have not explained the reason for the closure, but Vancouver International Airport notes on its website that programs are suspended because of the partial U.S. government shutdown. Nexus allows pre-screen travelers faster processing when entering the U.S. and Canada. Toronto posted a few hours ago that it has since reopened. MPs have returned to the House of Commons, with former Conservative Matt Genereux taking a seat on the government side for the first time today. The Alberta MP crossed over to the Liberals last week, months after announcing he was leaving politics. Genereux says he reflected over the holidays about staying on as an MP and cited Prime Minister Mark Carney's speech at the World Economic Forum as a reason for making the jump. Genereux is the third Conservative to join the Liberals since November. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says Genereux has betrayed the people of his riding. Australia's Prime Minister says he supports the removal of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the former Duke of York, from the line of royal succession. In a letter to British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Anthony Albanese writes, "I agree with His Majesty that the law must now take its full course and there must be a full, fair and proper investigation. There are grave allegations and Australians take them seriously." Last week, after the former royal was taken into custody, the British government said it was considering introducing legislation to ensure Mountbatten-Windsor could never be king. Almost the entire U.S. East Coast is getting hammered by a massive winter storm. The winter storm warning stretched from northern Maine all the way down to North Carolina. Parts of the country have been buried by over half a meter of snow. More than 5,000 flights have been canceled and hundreds of thousands of people are without power. This time-lapse footage shows the Empire State Building entirely engulfed in snowfall. In New York City, all non-essential travel was banned this morning. There's more news ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick Wyman. What do you got for us, Weather Wyman?
We've got some snow, my friend. We've got some snow. It's all starting tomorrow. The numbers coming up momentarily, so listen and watch very carefully, Ian. Here comes the snow. It's going to come by mid-afternoon tomorrow, then affect most of northeastern Ontario by the evening, but Sault Ste. Marie will get about 10 centimeters during the day, as you'll see with some of the numbers as we count them down, and then that system leaves, but it will get warmer by the end of the week. Overnight, nasty wind chills, minus 31 in Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie minus 34, minus 30 in Timmins, Temiskaming Shores minus 36, and North Bay minus 33. Winter, winter, chicken dinner. Here we go with the wind chill of the night, minus 45, and Moosonee. Of course, some of the other wind chill numbers, minus 39, Caphurst, Wawa minus 33, some snow tomorrow as well. Gore Bay minus 32 and minus 32 in Parry Sound. Here it comes, 5 to 10 centimeters in Greater Sudbury for tomorrow. Predominantly at night, minus 13 your high. Chance of flurries Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You'll like that +1 on Friday. Then it gets cold again, minus 6 and minus 12 come Sunday with the sunshine. But again, snow tomorrow night, another 5, by the way, continuing into the evening as well. So enough snow to shovel by Wednesday morning. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, you'll get snow 5 to 10 centimeters during the day. Another 5 tomorrow evening, -6 your high, -4 Wednesday, -3 Thursday, +1 Friday, and the chance of flurries Saturday, -7, -10 Sunday with the sun and cloud. How about Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, 2 to 4 centimeters at night tomorrow, -15 your high. Wednesday, chance of flurries, more of the same Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. +1 on Friday to start the weekend. Then it gets colder once again, -11 and -14 come Sunday. So you've got sunshine right across Northeastern Ontario, but it's going to be cold. And of course, it's well below the normal for this time of the year. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, snow tomorrow night, 5 centimeters, -12. Then you'll see a string of nice temperatures, -4, -6, 0 on Friday, -6 as it turns colder again Saturday, and -13 for your Sunday enjoyment in Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Here's North Bay, West Nipissing, 5 centimeters tomorrow evening, -9, -3 Wednesday, chance of flurries. Chance of flurries on Thursday, more of the same on Friday, and chance of flurries on Saturday. Gets colder Sunday, -12 with the sunshine, but again, just for you people, beautiful people, +1 on Friday. You'll get a bit of a break in the action with some of the colder temperatures, to say the least. How about the pick of the day as we present this dandy, courtesy of Jeff McFadden, Alsace Road near Powassan. Jeff, I don't know how you managed to get this pic. It's a dandy. I love it. Beautiful owl, and look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. You can certainly appreciate that. Coming up later on in the show, Angela Campbell helps a group of Girl Guides learn what it is to do here at CTV. Maybe they're going to have my job. That story coming up in a few minutes.
A controversial drug to slow the progression of Alzheimer's has hit a roadblock in Canada. CTV's Pauline Chan has reaction to the decision.
Lecanemab, also known as Leqembi, is already being used in dozens of countries, including the U.S. It was approved last fall by Health Canada for use in early-stage patients, but the next step on the road to access has hit a roadblock. In a draft, Canada's drug agency is recommending lecanemab not be covered by provincial drug plans.
While there's variability among physicians and experts, I have to say I wasn't satisfied. I think that the rejection of this drug sort of closes the door on what would be really a first step.
Dr. Howard Churtko is a senior scientist at Baycrest Health Sciences.
There have been a couple of medications released in the United States and around the world that get rid of amyloid. Amyloid is a protein that accumulates in the brain, and we see this almost always in people with Alzheimer's disease. Getting rid of the amyloid doesn't cure the disease, but seems to slow down the disease, at least in some patients.
And he admits in his own research, some patients improve, some don't. The drug agency decision indicates that while the medication can be used in Canada, it's seeking more definitive evidence before Leqembi is paid for by provincial drug formularies.
They sort of defined what they accepted as being clinically meaningful based on statistics and statistical numbers, rather than looking at individual responses of patients.
Lecanemab costs around $30,000 US per year. It's given by injection, and patients must be closely monitored. Quebec's drug agency counterpart has also rejected coverage. Canada's drug agency will still be receiving feedback until March 5th, when its final decision will be made. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Nearly half of inspected specialty vape stores are breaking the rules when it comes to selling vaping products. According to a new federal report, many of the products are designed to attract young people, prompting a call to tighten enforcement. CTV's Kathy Lee has details.
Bright lights, clean counters, strict rules on display.
20 mil?
For more than a decade, manager Hein Nago says this vape business was built on operating above board.
If you want to be compliant, it's very simple. Buy from the distributors that has been authorized by Health Canada.
But a new federal report suggests not every store operates the same way. Health Canada inspected more than 500 specialty vape shops nationwide and found 43% were breaking the rules, most often over promotion of prohibited prohibited flavors, testimonials or endorsements, packaging that did not have the required health warnings, or showed nicotine levels above the legal limit of 20 milligrams per milliliter. Public health advocates warn those violations can make vaping more appealing, especially to teens.
Among high school students in grade 12 across Canada, 27% are vaping. That's way too high.
By comparison, the Health Canada data also shows less than 1% of gas and convenience stores inspected were found non-compliant when it came to vaping products. Researchers say specialty shops often stock a broader range of products, including imports, which can make oversight harder.
The importers, the retailers themselves, and the manufacturers are all supposed to have, the responsibility to comply with Canadian regulations. And all of them, I think, in some ways are struggling with that.
Nago worries the report unfairly paints rule followers like him, and the answer is better enforcement.
If you were to be more strict, have more inspectors going around, making sure, and take complaints from resellers and retailers seriously.
Last month, Ottawa raised fines to up to $3,000 and expanded on-the-spot ticketing as health advocates push for a nationwide ban on flavored vapes, saying patchwork rules make enforcement harder. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
A Montreal police officer who lost his father to a rare cancer is turning grief into action. He's helping to raise money and awareness for life-saving research. CTV's Swida Rassi has their story.
Last year in July, firefighter Sylvain Berthiaume walked into a hospital with jaundice and back pain. It turned out he had an aggressive cancer of the bile ducts.
But after a couple of tests, the diagnostic is brutal.
His son Jonathan Berthiaume says doctors gave his father only 4 weeks to live, but it took less than that. Only 17 days after his diagnosis, the volunteer firefighter passed away. He was 64 years old. Cholangiocarcinoma, also known as bile duct cancer, is considered rare, says Dr. Simon Turcotte, a surgeon at the CHUM.
About 3,000 to 4,000 Canadians that die of this cancer yearly.
He says when it's caught late, chances of survival are low, but there is hope. An upcoming clinical trial led by Dr. Turcotte at the CHUM will offer patients a new and more potent form of immunotherapy to help fight the cancer.
The idea is to transfuse white blood cells that recognize and kill cancer cells. We take those white blood cells directly from a patient's tumor. The patient needs to undergo a surgery, and we expand the white blood cells to very large numbers in an incubator to make a cell product that we can then retransfuse to patients.
While it's too late for his dad, Jonathan is determined it won't be too late for others. In May, he'll embark on a long-distance ride starting from the Montreal fire station, cycling to the St. Damas fire station east of Quebec City, the very station his father volunteered at for 20 years. His goal is to raise $50,000, money that will go towards research.
My dad did have the time to make his fight, so I decided to make his fight for him.
Honoring his father 1 kilometer at a time. The clinical trial is set to begin next year. Swida Rassi, CTV News.
OPP offered up an official thank you to Kate's Country Kitchen, a restaurant on Highway 17 between Sudbury and Sturgeon Falls. Earlier this month, the staff supported emergency crews after a transport truck and passenger vehicle collided. The highway was shut down for 5 hours in frigid temperatures while crews investigated and cleared the scene. The team at Kate's supplied hot coffee to the first responders as they worked. You can find this and other stories from the north on our website at CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Algoma University's Hunger Freeze has become an annual part of the Bonsu Festival in Sault Ste. Marie. Hunger Freeze is a very cold fundraiser raising money to support schools' food pantry, a place where students with food insecurity issues can get supplies. 265 people took the plunge, including 62 of Algoma University's bravest souls. They raised more than $2,000 and received a donation of 5,000 food items from Desi Deli. The St. Mary's could not have been warm. Good on them. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Some Sudbury Girl Guides get a bird's eye view of what it's like to do the news. We'll explain after this.
clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
A new airline service for passengers in North Bay officially took off today. Prop Air's flight service from Rouyn-Noranda to North Bay and on to Toronto had its first run this morning. The weekday service is a key support for passengers in North Bay, providing service from Jack Garland Airport to Billy Bishop Island Airport in downtown Toronto. Well, late this afternoon, city officials in Elliot Lake announcing its beleaguered community pool, otherwise known as the Ruben Lee UT Center, will once again be reopening in March. The pool had just undergone massive renovations when it was suddenly closed roughly 6 months later after staff discovered a large quantity of acid in one of the mechanical rooms last summer. Officials once again met in October to discuss next steps along with staff and insurance adjusters. The repairs have since been completed and Elliot Lake says its pool will reopen March 9th. That's good news. Well, over the weekend, Girl Guides in Sudbury were learning about some of the different careers they could pursue, and a couple of journalists were inspiring the next generation. CTV's Angela Campbell has more.
How about everybody find Timmins?
CTV was one of more than a dozen stations at a guiding event in Sudbury. February 22nd is Thinking Day, marked globally to celebrate the Girl Guiding and Girl Scouting movement.
Every year we do something to celebrate Thinking Day and recognize Thinking Day, but this year, because it's the 100-year anniversary, it's a little bit of a bigger celebration year. From NOSM to Sudbury.com to CTV to the Women's Center to the Nickel Refillery, and basically it was all females in our community who can inspire the youth and basically show them what they can be and what they can do as they grow up.
When we're doing the weather on TV, we have a television screen that's usually like right in front there. So we can...
At the CTV stop, groups got to try out the green screen normally used for weather reports, including why we don't wear green clothing. They also learned what a video journalist does, including asking each other questions.
What's your favorite part about being a Girl Guide?
My favorite part about being a Girl Guide is that we get to do a lot of activities and get to go on really cool adventures.
What do you like being a member? Because we get to do fun things.
Okay. What do you like about being an member?
That we get to have fun. What do you like being a Girl Guide? Because it's fun.
When you were doing this back and forth, that was perfect. Yeah, you came back to your own so we could hear your voice when you asked the question. That was good.
Evelyn Bissell, CTV News Sudbury. Jamie Denecker, CTV News Sudbury. Claire Armstrong, CTV Sudbury. Solene Bouchard.
CTV News.
CTV News.
Sudbury.
Sudbury.
About 100 young girls ages 5 to 18 took part in the Thinking Day event in Sudbury, and we definitely saw some journalists in the making. Hoping I'm not out of a job. Angela Campbell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Let's take a look at the weekend scores over in the Ontario Hockey League. We start Friday night with the Sioux Greyhounds. Had an explosive first period. Marco Munoz is scoring 2 in the first frame and netted an empty netter for the hat trick. The Hounds win 6-3 over the Sarnia Sting. The North Bay Battalion would not be so lucky on the road. They dropped their Friday night tilt 5-1 to the Kingston Frontenacs. The Sudbury Wolves fare a little better on the road, pushing Flint into overtime Saturday. Chauvin with the game winner in OT. Wolves win 6-5. The Greyhounds were locked in a heated battle with the Guelph Storm. Saturday, only 1 goal gets scored despite 70 shots on net in this one. Guelph takes the 2 points in a 1-0 victory. I was at that game. And the Sudbury Wolves would finish their weekend in London. The Knights scored 4 in the first period, but the Wolves would keep them scoreless the rest of the game. It wasn't enough for the win, however. Wolves lose 4-2. In the NOJHL, it's a race to the finish line with just 3 weeks left of the regular season. Powassan currently has home ice advantage for the playoffs, but this time of year, 5 points, not a lot. The Thunderbirds will be making a push to steal that spot if they can. The race for the 8th and final spot in the playoffs is still a tight race, but Kirkland Lake inched ahead with a win and overtime loss against the Hearst Lumberjacks over the weekend. Blind River and Iroquois Falls also still in the hunt. An Ontario teen who is a Blue Jays superfan has been given just weeks to live. As we hear from CTV's Brent Lale, he checked off an item on his bucket list this weekend with a trip to Dunedin.
just tried to live life with no regrets.
17-year-old Wesley Johnson was born with a congenital heart disease. After waiting 3 years for a heart transplant that never came, he's been told by doctors he has just weeks to live.
This condition has been palliative since he was born, so we've kind of always known that this day could potentially come.
Yeah, I just try not to think about it too often. Our family uses dark humor to get through it.
Before he passes away, Wesley left Sick Kids in Toronto, where he spent the past 3 years. He decided to have a living celebration of life.
Being able to spend today with him when he's in such good spirits and such good health relatively compared to where we're headed is really special to us. It's a memory for us, and it's a positive memory for his siblings too.
Wes is a massive Blue Jays fan, so everyone attending was asked to wear their Jays gear. He even received a special surprise message.
What's up, Wes? David Snyder here of the Blue Jays. I know I heard you're a big Jays fan and everything, so I just want to say thank you for all the support and, hoping you have a good time at your party with, your friends and family.
A recent online fundraiser has helped Wes receive his final wish, attending a Blue Jays game in Dunedin.
I heard you're coming down in about 2 weeks or so, glad hopefully I can meet you here when you're down here.
Looking ahead to that trip in 2 weeks is what's driving him.
There's been a couple of days in the last week or so where we weren't sure if he'd make it to today, but we've managed. He's rallied again, and he's really, really looking forward to this.
Wes is a typical teen who loves video games and sports. He was able to graduate grade 12 with honors, get his driver's license, and work on an advisory council while he was at Sick Kids. And he has advice for others who are palliative.
I just try and live every day like it's your last and stay positive.
He'll spend his final days with family and friends while his mother is encouraging people to sign up for organ donation to prevent other people from missing out on a possible transplant.
These conversations have to happen. They're uncomfortable, but we need more organs, just period. People need to donate more, and it needs to be more talked about.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Oh, Better the Devil You Know. Lucifer star Tom Ellis has a new role, and one film keeps winning one award after another. David Daniel has those stories in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Steve Lockjaw just attacked my home, and I cannot remember for the life of my only child the answer to your question.
One battle after another has dominated another award show, this time the British Academy's BAFTAs. The darkly comic action epic won 6 awards, including Best Film and Best Director for Paul Thomas Anderson.
Connie Glass, you're a spy. Nothing gets past the feds, does it? Come on, we got work to do.
CIA stars Tom Ellis as an operative who reluctantly teams with an FBI agent played by Nick Gelfus. Ellis says one thing that drew him to the show was filming in New York.
Shooting out in the street in New York is a real experience, and one that I've never experienced before in my career. In that, normally when you're shooting outside, the area that you're shooting is locked off and that it's not open to the public. We don't really have that luxury in New York because nobody stops for anything. So, there are scenes in the show where, Nick and I are weaving our way through public and traffic and people taking selfies, and it's all real, essentially.
CIA debuts today on CBS and Paramount Plus. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Stocks fell and bonds rose once again as investors weigh tariff uncertainty. And now the European Union says it will suspend the ratification of its trade deal with the U.S. BNN Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya has more.
The EU says it is seeking clarity from the White House after Donald Trump increased his global tariff threat to 15%. The move comes after the Supreme Court blocked parts of President Donald Trump's trade agenda last week. The European Commission says the U.S. needs to honor its tariff deal with the EU, adding that sudden, unpredictable levies disrupt markets and supply chains. Today, the S&P 500 finished the day down more than a percentage point, and European stocks fell 0.5%. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar closed a cent lower, finishing at 72.99. West Texas Intermediate dropped to 66.49. Western Canadian Select was up 33 cents to end the day, and the TSX finished the day lower at 33,776. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
And thank you, Lindsay. Here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold is up $122.59, closing the day at $52.29.87 U.S. an ounce. Silver up 3.81 cents. Copper is up 9 cents. And nickel also up 17 cents, ending the day at $7.86 U.S. a pound. Rick is back now for one last look at the weather.
Okay, here we go, Ian. It's the snow countdown in Greater Sudbury for tomorrow, 5 to 10 centimeters starting pretty well late tomorrow afternoon into the evening. In Timmins, 2 to 4 centimeters, pretty well the same story. In Sault Ste. Marie, 5 to 10 centimeters during the day, an additional 5 centimeters at night. And in North Bay, 5 centimeters as well, 5 to 10 centimeters in Parry Sound, and Temiskaming Shores, 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters in Wawa during the day, and another 5 to 10 later on in the afternoon and early evening. So lots of snow in Northeastern Ontario, and then it stops snowing. It will improve. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Rick. Well, a lucky American family cashed in after discovering the holy grail of baseball cards in their grandfather's collection. This T206 Honus Wagner sold for more than $5.1 million U.S. at auction after being in the family for 116 years. The card of the Pittsburgh Pirate Great is one of the rarest in the sports collectible world and was originally distributed in cigarette packs in 1909. It's the third most expensive version of the card ever to be sold. Never know what you find in those basements. That's our newscast this Monday night. Because I'm here, Amanda Hicks will be covering off the 11:30 for me this evening, so make sure you tune in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Good night.